You have your quilt loaded. Now what do you do next? Well, we are going to baste our quilt down, and when you are basting your quilt down, you know you are going to get started with a good square plumb top. So the point of basting your quilt down is you want to have all sides of your quilt secured. We're going to do this a throat space at a time, and I'm going to show you how to get started. So the first thing we want to do is we have our backing loaded. We have our top loaded on our bar. We also have our batting here. And I want to put what we call a plumb line at the top of my batting. So I am going to go, I like to be far enough away from the top so I'm not going to interfere with my red snappers. I want to be as close to the top of that batting as I can get because I don't want to waste the batting. My next thing I will tell you is remember you're supposed to have about 4 inches extra on your backing and a little extra. Usually our batting is kind of like that. It's a little, it was kind of wide this time. That's okay. I am going to set my channel lock, my horizontal channel lock. If you don't have a Pro Stitcher where you have horizontal channel lock, you can use the little plastic rings that clip on your wheel. You just need to apply your channel lock. And then I am going to bring my bobbin thread up. I have selected baste here, which is going to give me 1/4 of an inch seam or stitch length. And I am just going to give a good straight line. I wish we had a different color thread on this quilt, but it is white, so it's probably hard to see. I didn't think that through.
It's blue.
That's blue. Sorry.
But it is light blue.
So I have stitched further than my quilt edge, and that's good. I'm going to take my channel lock off as I pull my bobbin thread up. I'm pulling my bobbin thread up so all my tails are up at the top. I don't have to worry about my bobbin thread cutting it on the bottom underneath or it getting knotted up and looking ugly. So I've trimmed off my tails. Now I'm going to take my quilt top and I'm going to line up to that stitch line that I just made. This assures that my quilt top is starting off. I like to have a little more fabric than what I actually need, so I'm going to unroll just a little more, and then I can pull it down to where it's straight. And I want to line up to that little plumb line with the very top edge of my quilt. Now, if it makes you feel better, you can put some pins across here. Just make sure you're pinning far enough to where that's not going to shift or you're not going to run over it. And then remember to take those pins out as well. So now I'm going to go right back to the top here. And I'm going to get over the edge. I want to remember that I want this stitch line to be covered up by my binding. So I need to stay within 1/4 of an inch from the edge of my quilt. I'm going to set a horizontal channel lock again, bring my thread up, pull my bobbin tail up, hold both threads, and I'm going to start basting. Again, I have my channel lock on, so I should be grabbing the edge of that quilt. Our tension is a little off on Miss Marley. It's pulling my... And I am in that 1/4 of an inch. So my binding is going to cover this stitch line up. Now when I get to the end, I'm just going to stop because I need to do my side down. So I'm going to take my horizontal channel lock off. I'm going to go ahead and kind of snug up my quilt top here. And what it likes to do is kind of push to the middle or go into the middle. but I want to keep it pulled out pretty evenly. Now you can measure this again with a tape measure and make sure, okay, this measures the same thing as it does down here, and kind of, you know, adjust it accordingly. But then I like to put my vertical channel lock on, and I like to start stitching down my side. Now I can see as I'm going, because I know my vertical lock is on and I'm staying pretty consistent. As far as I can go. Pull my thread up, take that vertical channel lock off. Now, since I turned the corner here, I don't have any tails to trim there, but I'm going to go over here and go ahead and get these tails trimmed off, because the more threads you keep snipped off, the better it's going to be. Now I'm going to go here and do the same process. We want to set our vertical channel lock within that 1/4 of an inch from the edge. Pull that bobbin thread up. And you can just eyeball it with the foot to make sure you're staying, you know, your quilt is staying pretty straight going down. Trim my threads off, take my channel lock off, and we're ready to get started. So that is how you get your quilt basted down to begin with. Now, as you quilt down your quilt, every time you advance it, you're going to baste your side seams down again. And then when you get to the bottom, you're going to baste the bottom down just like you did the top, keeping everything smooth and measured along the way to make sure you're staying good and square. So I hope this tip works. Be sure to check out other videos for other parts of your handy quilter journey in your quilting. And don't forget to follow Two Chicks on all our social media platforms. See you later. Bye.